My name is Lesley Martin, and on February 16th of 2014, I lost my husband in an avalanche. There was 4 of us buried, and he's the only one that didn't make it out, unfortunately. But thankfully, 3 of us did survive. George and I had been married for almost 40 years. I couldn't have found a better guy. He was willing to do all sorts of stuff as far as adventures, and we had a very good time together, and unfortunately it ended the way it did. But he was out doing something he loved to do too, and I don't know why I lived through it and he didn't, but that's the way the cards were dealt, so. George and I always snowmobiled together. We were always pretty careful about where we went. We still like to explore, but we knew, given our age and the dangers out there, we tried to stay safe. Bob and Sue were good friends of ours. Sue actually bought her very first snowmobile from me, and I taught her to ride. We also rode motorbikes together in the summer. We were a pretty good foursome. Sue liked to play like I liked to play, and vice versa. And George and Bob were really good friends, and we had a really good time together. We got up the morning of February 16th to okay weather. It was windy, but it was certainly a lot nicer than it had been the last few days. The last few days had been really, really nasty. It had snowed quite heavy, and this was the first real good snow we had had all winter. And it was also getting pretty wet. Started riding in and proceeded to find a few places to play, and actually found out a little bit later that one of the places we were playing was another avalanche path, which we were not aware of. We discovered real fast that there was probably 6 inches of powder on top of 2 feet of mush, because it had rained on top of it the night before. So it was really, the conditions were terrible. I had the hill behind me, and George was sitting on the other side of me on his snowmobile, and I was standing there talking to him. And all of a sudden I heard what I remember sounding like a baseball hitting an aluminum bat. It just went ping and crack, and I turned around and looked, and all I saw was a wall of white fluff coming at us. I screamed because nobody else had seen it. My instinct was to cover my helmet with my hands, and then I laid flat down on the snow. I felt the snow come over me, pinging on my helmet, and as soon as everything went still, I pushed out with my hands, because I remembered that's what you were supposed to do if you were buried, was try to make as much of an air pocket that you could. And I also tried to raise my head. When they say snow sets up like concrete after an avalanche, it does. I couldn't move anything. I knew that I only had so much air to use, so I tried to keep myself calm, and I did for a few minutes, and then I realized that my air was going away. It started to become more difficult to breathe. I was buried an hour and 45 minutes. I remember seeing a very vivid orange globe in front of me that was sparkling. And then I remember getting quite warm, and I really don't remember anything after that until I heard the snowmobiles ride up. Seconds later, I heard a shovel in the snow, and somebody conked my helmet. When they got there, they really didn't expect to find any survivors. They were on a recovery mission. When they hit me with the shovel and I yelled out, I'm told that both of them just about fainted because I didn't expect to find anybody alive. They dug me out from the waist up or enough to be able to sit me up. And I saw Bob there, and I think he was with George, and I must have known at that point what happened to George. The one thing that this accident taught me was to be very aware of where we stopped or where we were riding or where we were playing, because I learned about avalanche paths and that you didn't have to be hill climbing to get caught in one. And so hopefully I've been able to teach some other people to be aware of what they're doing. And also, if you are experienced in an avalanche and you have friends buried, don't give up on them. They've learned that people can live for quite a while in certain conditions underneath the snow.